only threatening here is just trading things, which isn't.
Ooh.
Oh dear.
Oh.
So,
So, what's
Take with the
the
pawn.
idea? Take with the pawn, and then you've no. Yeah, I think that is the idea, isn't it? Take with the pawn, and then does that
Threaten the
force the
queen
queen
and-
trade? Because it's not pinned if the pawn takes, which is
If
making
you take with
a
the
bit
pawn, you're
confused.
also pinning the bishop to the queen, and the bishop's under attack from the other bishop as well. So
Oh,
you
of
basically have one
course.
bishop.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you take there, then this rook's got an attack as well. Yeah, it's a very good point. Oh, okay. I've not updated it even more. I need to change the score. I've already given 2 points to Josh apparently. He hasn't earned
I mean,
hasn't earned so far.
should take those.
If he does end up winning this 2-0, then I'll have to ask you guys in chat to apologise and just accept that I can see the future.
Oh, that removes all of the advantage.
Yeah, no longer having that pin on the or potential pin on the bishop. So now it's gone back to
I
even
assume
Stevens.
the logic is to try and attack Black's pawn with the rook now, but that is too late.
He should just go for it and attack with the pawn. All right, we are back, and yeah, I'm absolutely kicking myself because I forgot to hit the record button before the stream started. So thankfully it's recording now, but for people who are catching up at home, the first game is lost. But yeah, basic story of that one is Matthew blunted his queen, and then Sean managed to wrap it up, which was quite good. But now, just moving on, we have the second game, and immediately Matt's going for the Queen's Gambit, which is quite a good one. It's been declined. Presumably, Sean's realised that there's a little bit of a trick with this one. The idea being that once this pawn gets moved forward, you can recapture the lost pawn with your bishop, and then you gain a little bit of an edge in terms of development without actually losing the pawn. So that's what's going on there. And yeah, so we'll see how this unfolds. Sean has somewhat blocked in his light square bishop just with that pawn move that he did on turn 2, but should be okay. He has plenty of options. Yeah, not bad. I expect Sean will probably take with the pawn. Be surprised if he doesn't. He doesn't. That's quite interesting. Yeah, Matthew probably should have gone the full way with that one, because then you're threatening the knight, and then you just own the centre, which would have been quite good. And also, if he did push it all the way through, then he'd be able to develop his bishop as well. Oh, thanks, Josh. That means a lot. Yeah, cool. It's just like bonus content for the people who are just loyal and actually follow the streams. That's a one way of looking at it. All right. So, wonder whether Sean's just going to throw his bishop in there at some point. Yeah, kind of hard to know what he's going to do, but castling is definitely a good idea. So, good thing that he got that ready. Yeah, I don't mind that sort of move. That seems quite decent. He could also develop the queen, or even do what he perhaps should have done last time, and which is push the e pawn and capture the centre. That's an interesting one. I think he should probably take with the knight. That's my feeling. But we'll see what Sean does. Okay. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, I think any developing move for white would have been good there. Less keen on that, just because just because he can take with a pawn, and then he's got decent control of the centre, and I think that's probably what he's going to do. Could also just go for the bishop. Okay. So the reason why that's not so good is because this is being attacked by two things and only defended by the one. So he's able to gain a pawn by doing that. And he spots it. So fairly natural to take with the pawn, and he should take back. Yeah, and he does. And now Matthew's firmly in position. Yeah, and unfortunately for Sean, his bishop doesn't really have many places to go, and if he advances either of these pawns, then that's just a loss. So that's not too great. He could prep this one by doing this pawn first. Actually, that would be quite decent, because it will give his bishop chances to develop over this way. Yeah, so his knight was not able to go there because the pawn's blocking it, and that does feel like a reasonably natural development move for the knight. Problem is, these squares, which are the two main ones that is sort of putting pressure on, are being sort of controlled by that white pawn on d4. Not bad, except for that was just a free pawn that he could have taken. I guess he didn't want to lose the bishop, which is fair, but the bishop wouldn't have fallen because he has a tempo on the queen. So yeah. Yeah, Matthew should take with the pawn here. Mark saying, let's see a decider here, everyone wants to see it. Yeah, completely agree. I am always in favour for ties, and then we have the really exciting 3-minute games where it's just absolute chaos. Those are my absolute favourite. So I'm low-key rooting for Matthew in this one, just so that we get the tiebreaker game. Potential for the queen trade after the knight takes. See if Matthew goes for it. I think it's probably the best thing to do in the situation, given that you're so far ahead already. I'd definitely be tempted. And you can't blunder your queen if it's already been traded off. So that's extra reasons to do it. But we'll see if he goes for it. He doesn't have to, of course. Yeah, okay, he does. That's good. Black should take back. And now Matthew's sort of cementing his quite significant lead, and it will probably serve him quite well going into the end game. And unlike last game, neither player is in real time trouble at the moment, so that's unlikely to be a factor in this game. Not a bad place for the bishop. I'm guessing Matthew's going to castle this way. He can't castle queenside because the rook is blocking, and you can't castle through check. So that's not possible. Well, now it's a possibility because he's blocked that line of view from the rook. But yeah, if Matthew does castle kingside, then that's going to be quite a useful bishop. Man needs to castle, stressing me out. Yeah, agree. That is one way to lose an advantage, is if you just have a vulnerable king and your opponent can use that against you. So best not to. Though, as we saw in the last game, both players do not like protecting their king by moving a pawn forward, and it's the same situation for Matthew if he does decide to castle this side. So potentially casting is going to actually increase their chances of losing. We'll see what happens. But yeah, these pawns make me nervous. Oh, Nick's picked a team, picked a side. Team Matthew in the house. Alright. Yeah, as I said before, I'm all for tie breaks, so I am rooting for Matthew in this one. Let's see what he does. Yeah, an idea that he could have is something like this, which is protected by the other knight, and he can choose either knight for this, and it's forking forking the two rooks. So that would be pretty nasty if he sees it, and he goes for it. That is brutal. That is brutal. Sean might as well do the trade, just delay the inevitable. But yeah, that rook move was not so great, unfortunately. Yeah, I think Sean might have seen this coming, and now he's in trouble. So well done to Matthew for spotting that one. It's not the most obvious one in the world. Alright, so Sean has his choice, and he goes for that one, which is a decent choice. That was a dangerous rook, and this one is just out of position. So keeping this one alive is actually good for Matthew here. So yeah, approve of that choice. Alright, he has gone for the castling idea. So if later in the game we see Matthew bringing out his rooks and pushing them forward, that sort of thing, if he does both of them, there is a potential for a back rank checkmate, as I mentioned before. But Sean needs to manoeuvre his rooks, and Matthew needs to manoeuvre his rooks in such a way to actually make it happen. So it's not going to be easy to pull off. Chat's cheering for a tie break as well. Yeah, that would definitely be good. And he's threatening the mate in one. Yeah. If the knight moves anywhere though, it will be able to recapture. So he better not get too excited, because that will be a mistake. So hopefully Matthew spots that, or else that'd be quite sad. So I think he was concerned about losing the free pawn, but I'm more concerned about losing to a checkmate. I prefer that pawn was pushed, personally. Okay, Sean doesn't have back rank problems anymore, or at least it's harder for Matthew to take advantage of. If he does a move like bishop to this one, they'll actually have quite a lot of good things going for it. For one thing, it's pinning the knight, but it's also making this square that isn't any good for an escape route. And this is actually reasonably clever by Sean, because he's now giving his rook another entryway to the back row, presuming that, you know, Matthew takes, which I think he should. I'm not repeating that, Nick, but very clever. Yeah, this game is keeping me on my toes. I think legitimately anything can happen here. He doesn't go for it, and if he's not careful, he can end up with a bit of a problem. Sean takes here, then he can try and advance it and make a queen. But I think Matthew will take with this pawn instead. I think that's reasonably likely. He does. Okay, so that removes that possibility. Oh, Nick, don't change. That's great. Thanks for that. Yeah, that's not going to work. I do like the idea in general of doubling up your rook slow. They are more powerful when they're like that. So, yeah, I do approve of that somewhat. We'll see how they handle this. Okay, right. He's got another escape way, so that's fine. Yeah, I wonder if Sean's just going to throw these pawns forward and try and crack open the defence over here. He shouldn't, because Matthew's vulnerable, as I said before. But that might be what he's thinking. Too many rooks spoil the broth. Okay, that's not an Albert Einstein quote I've heard before, but if you say so. Yeah, quite a tricky move that he can go for is that knight move. It's protected by the pawn, and it's putting pressure on this bishop, which doesn't really have anywhere to go. I mean, it can go backwards to here, but that would be its only real option. Doesn't go for it though. Not a bad. Well, actually, no. It's actually reasonably bad. That would be a good place for Sean to go to right now. And the only way I think that... Actually, I'm not sure if there is a way for Matthew to get out of that fork, other than maybe checking. That's probably the best thing that he could try and do. Yeah, but we'll see if Sean finds it. He doesn't, unfortunately, which is a bit of a mistrick. Yeah, Matthew's got the material advantage here, but that rook is in quite a dangerous spot, and yeah, if Matthew's not careful, that could be game over. It's a little bit on the table now. Yeah, if he's not careful, he's going to be in big trouble. Yeah, I think what I'd like to see is a move that has this rook sort of running away a little bit, something like that. But he could also just decide to hide. That's the other option that he has, and you know, either could work. Freudian slip mark. Is that what that is? Okay. Yeah, plenty of potential for Matthew to mess up here. That was the right move, but now this rook can't go down to help protect the king, and if this rook moves somewhere, say here. Oh, too early. You pulled the trigger too early, Sean. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, the wrong place to move is that one, but you've told Matthew that he's got background problems. You should have kept it a secret. So yeah, I think Matthew's gonna fix it. This is the only way this goes wrong. That works, because take and then there's no problem. Okay, I like the idea of keeping the rook alive, but he's shown his hand, and Matthew should just make an escape, and you know, if that works. So yeah, that was a tactical error by Sean. He should have waited and tried to take Matthew by surprise. So yeah, rook should escape, something like that, or that. Yeah, not too many chances for Sean left now. But that's good for us, because we want a tiebreaker game. Classic Sean, always early. Yeah, you're on form today, Nick. I'm impressed. Right, let's see how Matthew tries to win this one. That would have been a nice idea, but unfortunately, yeah, the king has a way to escape. So both players are actually taking more than 5 seconds per move, so their clocks are running down. So I said earlier in the match that I didn't think this one would come down to time trouble, but I may be proving myself a bit wrong here. And it's on Matthew to find the moves. So he's the one that's going to be thinking more, whereas Sean just needs to make moves, and that's it, in order to stay alive. And he needs to be wary of this guy, because that's now in a slightly dangerous position, and Sean can try and take advantage of that. Yeah, I don't think that king move was really doing much. I would have preferred something like this, or even going the other way around and just supporting this this pawn going forward. Why is Matthew never putting Sean's king in check? Good question. Okay, he's gone for the trade, so yeah. He has to be very careful about this pawn, and the pawn's going to die. So now he's fine, and he's noticed that, so that's good. Yeah. So yeah, now Matthew has to find a way to checkmate with the rook, which isn't the easiest one in the world, especially when you've only got 1:40 on the clock. I think he's just going to gobble up that pawn first, and then try and figure it out. He may also try and just do the easy version, which is promote to a queen and then do the ladder checkmate. Yeah, I think he's struggling a little bit. I would have preferred something like this, threatening to take the pawn, because that's actually Sean's biggest danger right now. Because there's a chance that Matthew doesn't know how to actually do checkmate with just a rook. So if he takes the pawn, then that actually puts him in a good position. And unfortunately, he can't cross this barrier with the rook. So if the pawn comes to him, that's a different question. Okay, he's going to have to move backwards, and actually there's a chance that Matthew stalemates Sean. If he progresses the pawn at some point and Sean goes here with no opportunity to go round, then that will be a stalemate, and it's actually quite easy for that to happen in this situation. Fair enough. The pawn actually can't be taken because of that. Oh no, Sean, you should have gone there. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay. Oh, he's flexing. He's under-promoted to a rook just to prove a point, I think. But he's actually putting himself a little bit at risk. Okay, yeah. Yeah, mate in 3. Okay, now it's a little bit longer. Yeah, the problem with having them both on the same file is that it makes it harder to do the ladder. And if he, yeah, he's just making it even harder now. So a move like that also works. So now he's going to do the ladder. Okay. It was fun speculating, but I think this is fine. He should be able to pull this off now. Yeah, okay. I think Sean was trying to bait him into moving too far to get a few extra turns out of it, but yeah, that's game. So well done to Matthew. We have a 1-1 tie, which means that we're going to have a tiebreaker, and we're going to have that shortly. We're going to have a quick break while we set that up. So stick around and catch that game. See you shortly. Yeah. Okay, so let's not stalemate here. Ideally he takes, yeah, okay, that makes it a lot easier. Then here, and I think it's checkmate either way. It depends whether he moves a pawn or whatever. Yeah, okay, checkmate. Cool.
Let me interject there. Johnny is East Sussex champion chess, champion, county champion. So, you know, Johnny is a slight favourite going into this game, and then there could be a John matchup.
I think you might have had a case of mistaken identity there. Actually, you know, sorry to interrupt you and all that, but I think you made me think of Ralph and not Johnny.
Well, I've heard rumours of Johnny's tactic. You know, John. I mean, it's an interesting tactic to play down your prospective competitor, but I've heard Johnny
not very
has
humble of
some
me.
very, very sneaky moves up his sleeve.
Yeah, certainly.
He's Johnny the Sneak after all. You know, they all call him Johnny the Sneak.
Well, isn't that chess, Nick? Huh?
Chess, folks.
So, how confident were you going into the tie against your old friend John?
I'm the only person I played chess with in the last couple of years was a game I played with John, and he won. So it was almost certain he'd win.
Wait, we played a game together.
Yeah, at Johnny's house, maybe after the Greek restaurant.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
I mean, John clearly won by such a landslide. He hasn't even remembered it.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's just my poor memory.
It's quite tough. We all get sluggish after a good Greek meal, so...
Who doesn't love a Greek gyros, huh? Then a game of
The
chess.
Greeks know how to make food.
Yeah.
And thank you to our Greek sponsors.
Thank you
Heroes.
to the Greek gyros.
Yeah, so it looks like Vid's going to be up against Mark Leith.
Oh, very nice.
Well, we have Mark Leith on the line over here. Mark,
Oh,
what do you think about your potential matchup?
Nick, I think you're right. Let's bring him in.
Hello. Yeah. So yeah, just heard it. It's me and Vidur next round. Yeah. I think it's gonna be a good one. I think it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. Yeah. You know,
Will
both
you
had tough
be
first
using
rounds.
Greek food?
It's going to be a good one.
I think it's gonna be a good one. Both had tough first rounds. Probably hard done by with the draws. I'd say could both be in the main draw. So you know, high quality.
Wow, big claims from Mark here.
Yeah.
You saying that the draw was rigged?
Well, I'm not saying it was a fix, but
Okay, well, it looks like Mark there. I think Mark's gone. Anyway, the draw is completely legitimate. We have to, again say that for our sponsors. Thank you very much.
We have a quarter-final match actually. It's the first
Oh.
quarter-final. It's going to be Ronan against the winner of the first match of that day, Andrew and Matthew.
Wow, the first matchup has a potential, second game ahead of them. Wow.
Yes,
Very
so
nice.
Nice for the wicked.
I
No
did
red
check with
Killian, that
each
is
of them
right.
beforehand, and
That's
they're okay with it. So
Yeah, that's fair. I'll be interested to see.
yeah, indeed. And the final match of the day is Adrito versus Sean.
Match of the day 2 is on.
Yeah, well, it's Sunday evening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sundays.
Yeah.
You
No,
two
why
make
don't you
a
get
great
that
radio
late?
duo.
Yeah, so we're making a chess radio from now on, right? Chess radio show.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
With the catchphrase, that's
Yeah,
chess.
final question for the day. Who loves chess?
Don't we all, Nick? Don't we all?
You know what I love with chess? Greek restaurants.
Thanks to our
You
Gyros.
are heroes.
Why don't you check your mate and check out the Greek? Yep, it's Greek time. Thanks, everyone.
Check out that Greek opening.
Thanks, Gillian. Well, on our next episode, we'll find out what is chess.
Yes.
Cool. Well, when you're airing, I'm really excited to catch the show.
And spoiler alert, that is.
Give it away, Killian.
That's chess.
As always, you can catch mine and Nick's podcast about That's Chess on Tuesday evenings. Available straight after the John and Ralph matchup, actually. So tune into that, listeners. please.
Available on LimeWire exclusively.
Also available with a premium couch tuner and Movies 123 subscription.
Is this like your hook? Is every other line is just fake news?
No. It's chess is other line.
Yeah, you alternate between the two of them.
Is any of this true? Well, that's chess. Actually, John, let's get some insightful questions here. We haven't had many. How are your stress levels? You know, are you sweating, your heart rate? What was going through your mind?
Check your Fitbit. Do the wrap with it.
So during the games or during the stream?
During the games, I mean, that's chess.
In life.
Very smooth here.
That is so smooth. I'm impressed. Were you actually a radio announcer in your past life?
This
Oh,
is
no.
like one, Jesus Christ.
I've dabbled. I've dabbled, John.
He's the one that you get like 4 in the morning that no one listens to.
Alright.
It's called, and you may have guessed the title already. It's
That's chess.
Chess.
well, isn't that chess, Nika?
Chess, folks.
Them beforehand. And
chess.
they're okay with it. So
That's
Yeah.
chess.
That's fair. With the catchphrase, that's chess.
my life.
That's chess.
You know what they say, Don? That's chess.
That's. I mean, clearly he didn't agree, but that is chess.
Yeah. And spoiler alert, that is. That's chess.
As always, you can catch mine and Nick's podcast about That's Chess on Tuesday evenings. Available straight after the John and Ralph matchup, actually.
Is this like your hook? Is every other line is just fake news?
No. It's chess is other line.
Yeah, you alternate between the two of them.
Is any of this true? Well, that's chess.
I'm glad.
That is chess. During games, I mean, that's chess. Sadly, that's chess, but there you go. Schools, and you may have guessed the title already. It's-
All right, and we're back. We've got the tiebreaker game. And yeah, okay, we're good. We're good. Matthew's in the white because he's got the higher accuracy score. So yeah, that's how we decide these things. We just look at the analysis and check who's got the higher rating according to Jess.com. And yeah, okay, fix that. So Matthew's got a point there. So yeah, they need to be making moves quite quickly. So it's a 3-minute game with 1 second increment. So each move they make, they get a second back to their time bank. So really, they only have between 4 to 5 seconds for each move. So yeah, they have to be very speedy. Not much time to think. Yeah, they're running down their clocks a little bit, but that should be fine. And the queen is hanging immediately. Oh, and Sean misses it. Oh no, come on. Okay, that's fine. I can't believe that. We're 7 moves in and we're already hanging a queen. Okay, we're fine. Yeah, we'll see what Sean does here. But you know, he's just down a bishop, which isn't too bad. I would go for the queen trade. Just do it. And he's hanging his queen for the 2nd time. And Sean doesn't go for it. Oh my days. What am I looking at? It's the Botez Gambit declined twice. That's what's going on right now. Oh dear. Okay. So Matthew's got the advantage now, just because he's been picking up a couple of pieces along the way. Though after Sean recaptures with the knight, which he should do, he shouldn't move his king. Yeah. Okay. Now Sean's got the advantage. He's got the piece advantage, and yeah, just he needs to start developing his bishop. Something like that would be quite good. And there's a fork, and Matthew doesn't go for it. That's fine. Quite tough to spot that one, but it is back. He can go for it. Yeah. Okay, so he does go for it. Yeah. Okay. And then after he captures, there's only a small material difference, so that's fine. I think it's easier to play with two rooks than just the one. They're actually not doing too bad on their clocks. You know, a lot of pieces have gone off the board, which makes the situation a lot simpler, so they don't have to be panicking so much. And oh dear, yeah, okay, that was a hanging rook, so that's less good for Sean. That's a free pawn. No, it's not. He can't take it. He can't take it because he'd be exposing his king. But you know, something like that could have been a bit sneaky. Yeah, that's not freeing up your knight. That is. So that's good. Yeah, and king's in check. Yeah, I mean that's also fine. It probably doesn't matter. Oh no, that's yeah. Okay, I take that back. He's just won back a rook. Okay, we are back to roughly even again. Very swingy game. Yeah, he could have done something like that, which would then be a free pawn, which would have been a nice idea, but he didn't go for it. Mark said it right. Yeah, I completely agree. I just don't know how this game's going to end. We've seen it all already, and it's only like 2 minutes in. So yeah, Not bad, not bad. No tactics, just moves. Beautiful. Yep. Chess at its purest. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, okay, that's a good move. Yeah, picking up the pawns when they're available. Yeah, okay, Vid's trying to set up his game. We are running a little bit behind schedule because we still have the interview to go. So yeah, that's going to be slightly delayed, but that's okay. The games have been quite long, and we've had the tiebreaker, which is why we're running a little bit behind. So yeah, it's good. Sean's been giving us a lot of chess content along with Matthew, so we can't complain. Yeah, they're making these deadlocks with the pawns, and that is a nice way to break it, actually. So he should go for that. And yeah, all he needs is for one of these two pawns to succeed, and he's got a massive advantage. And indeed, he's now got three options. He can use the rook to help these two out, or he can try and progress this one. And that knight now can't move. Well, actually, no, I don't hate that move, actually. After pawn takes, king takes, and then you're putting pressure on that knight. And indeed, if it doesn't, then, you know, taking as well, that's not bad. Now the king should go and protect both these pawns and also that knight. Don't like that move too much because it allows the king to go down there. And yeah, you can't really sneakily take that. That's just not going to happen. Okay. Oh, okay. Sean didn't take it. He should have taken it. That's unfortunate. If he promotes, bishop takes, rook takes, and then he's gained a bishop for the price of a pawn, which is what he should do, and he does. So that's good. Vid, you are playing against Mark Leith. So yeah, I'll send you a message with his username if you're trying to look for him. But I think you messaged in the WhatsApp chat, so hopefully Mark will respond to that, and you can try and get that game sorted. We are running a little bit behind schedule, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Okay, we're about to wrap this one up. Yeah, Matthew should be able to pull off the checkmate. Only 4 seconds though. He only has the 4 seconds. Hey, okay, he does it. Well done. Congratulations to Matt. We will just cut to a very short break, and we'll be back in a few seconds with the interview. All right, so see you shortly.
If he does end up winning this 2-0, then I'll have to ask you guys in chat to apologise and just accept that I can see the future.
Oh, that removes all of the advantage.
Yeah, no longer having that pin on the, or potential pin on the bishop. So now it's gone back to even
I assume
Stevens.
the logic is to try and attack black's pawn with the rook now, but that is too late.
He should just go for it and attack with the pawn. Oh, apparently he's now hanging mate in 3.
Engine.
Anyone find it?
See, I see
go
it's
for it.
queen f7 check as the beginning.
Okay. And
f7 check, queen f8 check, rook takes mate.
He's stuck in the corner.
oh my life, that's what the vision is, and it's gone. It's gone.
We've done another
Oh no.
Alright, and we're back, and I'm here to interview the two competitors, which were Matt and Sean. So good to have you with us. So yeah, Matt, how did you find those games? Stressful? Pretty chill? What's your take?
Yeah, pretty stressful. My heart rate's definitely up. I've got a bit of cold sweat going on, you know.
Mm-hmm. I know you're both sportsmen, so how does the heart rate compare to when you're actively doing your favourite sport?
I'd say it feels quite different just because obviously, like, I'm not out of breath or anything. It's more like I just feel like a bit shivery. So it's more like maybe like before you like start of game day or something, and like you're on the way to the match or something. It kind of feels a bit like that, weirdly.
Yeah, I agree. You're not like out of breath, but you're nervous. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, so first game, I think Sean managed to get that one through. So yeah, how did you find that one? Do you feel like it was quite an even game until you managed to break through?
It felt even until Matt misclicked his queen and gave me it. And that gave me the edge.
Yeah.
Mental pressure was too much for me. I couldn't keep it. Really correct.
Yeah. So I think you said in the break that actually you had a misclick on the move that I'm showing on screen right now. The queen to d5 move. Is that right?
Yeah, I was drawing arrows with my right mouse button, and I somehow managed to hit my left mouse button, and my response was I did almost hit resign there and then.
It's good that you were a good sportsman about it and played it to the end. That's what we like to see. So yeah, well done for that. Yeah, you managed to have a comeback victory though in game 2. So that one felt it was quite solidly in your favour after the opening. Was that your general feeling? Did you feel in control?
Yeah. I think I had like I can't remember exactly the game, but I feel like I came out like a piece or so up.
Yeah, I think you're up a piece quite early.
Yeah, and then I kind of just traded away, and it kind of sort of stayed about the same, and then managed to find a check out at the end.
Yeah, something that I did notice in that game was that your pawns mapped in front of your king on the F2, G2 and H2. They were putting you in a bit of a vulnerable situation, especially as you were attacking with your rooks. Sean, you went for it.
Honestly, thought it was over, and then I was like, oh no, we can cover with the bishop and then the rooks. Thought it was over.
My heart stopped there as well. I thought I was buggered. There's like this one line out. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been waiting for you to leave that empty, and then when you did it, I was like, oh, I've got it, and then I realised quickly that I didn't.
Yeah, you needed to wait a little bit longer and hold your nerve for that like couple seconds more.
Nah, too excited.
Yeah, too excited, and actually doing the move of checking the king probably made Matthew aware of the problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was an unfortunate situation, but it wasn't over, and you kept fighting even when you're just down to the last couple of pieces. So what was your general idea? Were you trying to get a draw?
I was trying to make Matt run out of time. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I was just running my king around. I was trying to stop anything getting promoted, but then I obviously messed that up as well. 5 second increment was killing me.
Yeah. In the end game, the moves are a bit simpler. So if you just make moves just to gain a little bit of time, you can try and keep afloat. But yeah, it's still quite tough. So yeah, there was actually an opportunity, Sean, for you to try and get a stalemate.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was before Matt promoted to the rook. Yeah, okay, so turn 50...
I let him get his rook behind his pawn, which was a mistake.
Turn 56, if you want to go to that one. So the pawn was checking you, it was on the 7th row, and you decided to go away from it.
Right.
And there's kind of this possibility that you could have tried to engineer of you have your king on e8, and you can't move to the side because the pawn is checking those. So some sort of suffocation idea might have been possible. I think actually there's not really enough material on the board to make it happen, but you could have tried something like that.
I wasted enough time.
Yeah, but no problem. The 1-1 brought us to the tiebreaker game, which is always my favourite. I love watching these. They're genuinely amazing. I don't know where to begin. Right, okay, so turn 6. I think that's a good one. So Sean, you moved your bishop to g4, which is threatening the queen.
I'm just getting it, sorry. Wait. Move 6, did you say?
Yeah, move 6 of the last game. You move your bishop to g4.
I think I'm on the wrong game, but okay. I'm threatening the queen with this.
Okay, well anyway, you move it there, and you're threatening White's queen. And Matthew doesn't spot it. You do any other move than saving your queen.
Oh my god! I worry about my knight. Oh my god!
Yeah. As soon as I moved that pawn, I was like, oh shit.
That was the whole point of moving the bishop.
Yep.
Oh no.
But wait, there's more. Okay. So, turn 9. So Matthew's got his queen now on g4.
Oh god, I didn't even see this one.
And
wait, and what happened?
So you move your queen to d7, which is fine because it's protected by the king. So if Matthew takes your queen with his queen, then it's fine. You're Gucci. But the next move, Matthew again blunders his queen.
Why didn't I take it? What am I doing? Why did I do that? Oh my. What am I doing? It was free.
It was free twice into the first 10 moves.
No.
Oh dear. Yeah, I'm just looking at the analysis of this game, and half of the moves are some shade of red. But I mean that's to be expected from a 3-minute game. You're just scrambling. How did you find that time pressure? I'm intrigued to know.
I was just really I'm sure it's obvious, but I wasn't really thinking about that move so much. I was really focused on winning on time, which I almost did, to be fair.
Yes, and actually, real nail biter for Matt in the end. Only 5 seconds on the clock. So yeah, that was quite a tricky one. I guess you're quite comfortable with the ladder checkmate, Matt. But if that wasn't an option and you only had, say, a queen or a rook, do you think that you could pull it off?
Potentially. I've done it once in a ranked game so far.
Okay.
I always find it quite hard. I've done it once in a ranked game, and I've also, in the process of trying to get it, got a stalemate in a ranked game. So I'm 50-50 at the moment. So ladder is best.
Fair enough. Yeah. So those are great games to cast. So thank you guys for that. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. So probably worth bringing up the bracket to have a look at your potential opponent, Matt, now that you're through to the next stage. And it's actually going to be the winner of the next game that we have in the schedule, which is the game between Mark Leith and Vid. So I don't know if you caught any of the earlier streams, but if you've seen any of their games, what do you think are your chances?
I have seen some of the earlier streams, but I can't remember exactly who I watched, so I should probably tune in and take some notes.
Well, it's self-plug, but you can catch them on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So yeah, I've been uploading all of the streams. So yeah, you can have a little bit of a spy at those, and yeah, see what you think. But yeah, so now you're through to the semis. You are guaranteed at least £4 of your entry back.
Big dollar.
Yeah, big dollar, and there's even potential for you to make a profit on your £10 if you win the whole consolation bracket. So yeah, plenty to play for.
Got my eyes on the prize, going all the way.
That's the spirit. That's the spirit. Yeah. So thank you guys for being with us. Unfortunately, we're saying goodbye to you, Sean. But hopefully you can mock people in chat. And if you want to help me co-cast the next game against your brother, that would be awesome.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. All right. We're going to cut to a break while we set up the next match. But see everyone shortly.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm a weeb, if you haven't noticed. I literally have no idea what I'm looking at. It's probably good, but I think it looks disgusting.
This is the modern opening, my friend.
Is it? Then maybe I should know it.
Yes. Give up the pawn center so that you can place your pieces on squares that attack the center without committing a pawn there quite yet.
Oh, interesting. I suppose sort of thematically, because white starts first, they've got a kind of aggressive advantage, so it maybe makes sense for black to have a defensive structure like this.
But he is putting Mark under some pressure here. There's lots of places the knight can't get.
Yeah, and he's decided to put it on the rim. And as the old chess poem goes, the knight on the rim is dim. So
I thought it was a sin, but
it's also a sin.
Not a very nice setup to be having as white. That
No.
bishop's now stuck. Oh, okay, never mind.
Why do you say never mind?
The white knight doesn't have any moves, so
No, it can't
the
go
bishop
here.
was
Can't
stuck
go here.
defending
Can't
it
go
as
here.
long as the black bishop was attacking it, but that's no longer happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I see. I see.
The game keeps going like this. I think Killian's time advantage might amount to something.
That's a very fair comment. He's not even used a minute, and Mark's almost used 3. Oh, that's not good. Is it a trapped queen? Is that what the problem is?
that's a nice move.
So he can escape to b7. Though that's not doing much good because the rook's protected by black's queen, so it's not really an attacking move. It's more of a save your bacon kind of move. That also works, but yeah. Yeah, and now white's defense in front of the king is broken, so there's some potential in the future for some attacks on the white king on the right side of the board. Not sure what that's achieving.
That is a very peculiar move. That is very nice.
That is a very strong move. White can't take it because then that's losing a queen, and it's sort of setting up an attack on any of these 3 squares. F4, G3 and H2.
I assume taking it is the best move.
Well, we can check that. Yeah, you're right, actually. It was the best move. But in hoping to save his queen, he is hanging mate in 1. Yeah, taking on the H2 pawn. He doesn't see it, though.
He didn't see it.
He didn't see it.
Or maybe he's trolling.
These 1300 rated players, and they can't see mate in 1, Now he sees it. He was just playing with us. Alright, well that was... I'd like to say that was balanced, but I think it was actually fairly one-sided, that game. The advantage was just...
quite well, not?
He did fairly well at the beginning, but the advantage was just slowly accumulating in favour of black after a while. Knight on the rim is what, Matt?
It's a
Pretty
sin.
good.
It's a sin. It's pretty good according to Ralph.
That is a
That's not great.
I'm gonna guess White's next move here.
Yeah, I think it very well could be capturing Queen. That is quite unfortunate, and it's doubly bad because it has a tempo on the H7 pawn. So yeah, just extra pieces into the attack is not what you want. Also discovered attack on the knight.
Lots of issues with that.
Killian is thinking about it though, so
Maybe tunnel vision into.
well, yeah, I think for Mark's sake,
Over the pawn, maybe. Oh, he's taking it.
has he?
I think. Or no, maybe that was my guess.
Oh, right. No, he didn't go for it.
Oh.
But that's
Fair enough.
that is fair enough.
That's still alright.
Yeah, because the attack on the queen is still there.
Mhm.
Because he has to deal with the check first. Yeah, now he takes it.
There we go.
And
So which way is thinking you're gonna come?
yeah,
Are you thinking try to go forward?
if he comes forward, the queen takes the knight, and then the white knight's protected. So, yeah, I think this is just bad news all around. I
I
think.
think, yeah. Although I think you do need to be brave in these kind of situations.
Mm.
Good.
Well,
Take the initiative.
The king's a very important piece. It can move in all directions.
mhm.
Quite powerful. So good attacking weapon.
According to the computer, we have mate in 8, but that's going to be quite difficult to find, and that wasn't the move.
That was not it, no,
it
sorry.
would have been better to bring the queen out, whereas now that knight's just hanging.
I think Killian's made this a lot harder for himself than it had to be.
Yeah, I think I agree. And you know, a move like you know, Queen at F7 doesn't work because you know after all the trading, the king can take the final rook. So that'd actually be excellent for Mark, but it doesn't happen.
Until now.
And he finds it. Yeah.
Bam.
I'm Killian. I've been playing chess on and off for a few years. Yeah, go through like times of playing it and just not playing it for a long time.
Yeah.
But I do mostly play Blitz games, which is why my time I don't use much time generally.
Yeah, I did spot that you played an ungodly amount of Blitz games. It was like 6,000 or something ridiculous like that.
Oh, is it that much already?
Oh my god.
It's a lot, man. Not gonna lie.
I'm Mark. Yeah, we got invited to this tournament, so I thought I should probably learn how to play chess. Did that, and here we are.
Did you play much chess as a kid, or not really?
I knew how to play, but in terms of all the tactics and stuff, no idea.
Yeah, I think quite a lot of people are sort of in that situation, like you know how the pieces move, but openings and all that sort of stuff is quite foreign. Certainly, it was to me as well. And certainly, going back to the opening of the first game, we had an opening that I was completely unfamiliar with, and actually even Ralph said that he wasn't very familiar with it either.
Okay.
So yeah, that's
I
quite
meant
tricky
to
one.
go to D4 or D5, and my mouse slipped and ended up on D6 or whatever it was. So I was like, I'll just play this opening, I guess.
I didn't have a clue.
Oh, that's amazing.
Luckily, I didn't make any other slips.
We all thought that it was legitimate because your rating's so high.
No.
Yeah.
I was going for
I
a Scandinavian. Fuck that up.
So I think I spotted in the other chat that you'd already started looking at your who you may be going up against. Is that right?
Yeah. I'm up against Nick. Right?
Yes, that's right.
And Mark, you may be going against me if I lose my next game.
I know.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
All right.
The host.
Exciting times, yeah.
You want to do a takedown of the host? Is that your ambition?
I would love that. I was throwing that game. I wanted to be against you anyway. So
John, if someone beats you, do they become the host?
That should be how it works. I just give away my Twitch
that
channel.
Should be.
Yeah,
definitely.
What on earth is this? What on earth is this move? Right, okay, I'm just going to do what I'm comfortable with, as I do not know what that is at all. Interesting. What's that doing? Right, let's think this through. If he does that, you can't block it. So then he has to escape or something, and then he loses his right to castle. Is that good for me? It feels marginal. Actually, I feel like that might be okay. I haven't just blunted this, have I? So what I'm thinking is if he does this, bishop there, and I take his queen. So he should move here. And yeah, there's nothing, he can't move his knight to block it, or his bishop. No moves, no pawns to block it either, so he has to move his king. Actually, was that checkmate? Did I just miss checkmate? No, yeah, he had that move. Okay, I didn't miss that then. I don't really want to be taking his knight, because that's just helping him. So I think I won't do that. I'd quite like to crack open his defense a little bit though. If I do that, he takes with his king. That feels good. Oh, interesting. Okay, so he's going for that. Yeah, I think I can take, and that'll simplify things, I think, in my favour. And then I take with the pawn. And he takes, I take, he takes, and now we're in this situation. I can maybe try something like that. No, that's terrible. What am I thinking? Oh, that looks good for me. So checking his king, attacking his rook. So I think I should be able to kind of wrap up after this. It's just making sure I don't make mistakes from here on out. Oh, is he trying to stalemate? Oh, that's clever. Okay. Right, I just got to make sure that I check him every turn.
Okay, yeah, I think this is done now. Can go this way. Yeah, I've got to give him credit though for not giving up. Yeah, that's quite admirable actually. If I hold on. If I do something like that, he takes. The idea being that, right? Let's give it a go. Why not? See what he comes up with. How do I feel about that? How do I feel about that? Am I just trapping my queen if I go here? Maybe. What else could he do? No other blocking moves, so just move his king here. I think I'm okay with the trade. Well, that looks like a free pawn. That looks like a fork. Stream purposes. Okay, there we go. We are back. Sorry for the long delay, everyone. I'm just going to give the link to Sean so that he can actually watch. But we are off. All right. So Vid with his favourite Grob opening, which is interesting. It's evolved into the Zurich Gambit, which I've never heard of in my life. But there you go. Yeah. So what do you make of this so far, Sean? It seems like I don't see much merit in what Vid's trying with that.
Yeah, Mark's kind of standard, very pawn out, never develop pieces, and is that not just free bishop there?
Sean, I don't know what's happened to your mic, but you're suddenly less clear than you were before.
Okay, is that better?
Oh, that is much better. Thank you.
Okay, I'll just hold up for my mic.
Cheers.
Was that not just a free bishop for Mark there?
It wasn't, because it was protected by the knight.
Oh, true, yeah.
Yeah. But the opening pawn was definitely free.
Yeah.
And I think the only positive thing that you can kind of get out of it is, like, after White's sort of developed his knight, he can slide the rook over one, and then he's got like an aggressive rook. But it doesn't feel good to me. And
where do you see that? You see when you say like the computer thinks this is the best move? Where do you see that?
So on the top right, there's an option that says lines. It's probably only available to people who've gone for the premium.
Yeah, I've got that. Okay.
You got that. Okay, cool. So now you can cheat like me. That's good. Okay. This situation has simplified a lot. I mean, there's literally only only a pawn and a knight.
King side.
Yeah. certainly castling for white would be a bad idea on the king side.
Oh yeah. No.
That it's just asking for trouble.
So is this saying that knight c3 is the best move? Is that what it says?
Well, for me, it's saying knight f3. What you see at the top, it says depth equals and then a number. What number does that go to for you?
Yeah, 18.
Okay, mine goes
18?
to 20. So I think we get slightly different numbers, but broadly they'll be suggesting the same sort of moves.
Fair.
Yeah,
so that pawn's be for the queen now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Though the queen is quite exposed.
Now it is.
I like the idea of knight
yeah,
f3. I think that would be quite a good move.
Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, just putting pressure on the queen.
Wait, what did you say? Knight.
Knight to f3 for white. That would be quite good.
For white, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, then the queen's got to kind of retreat.
Yeah, indeed.
And neither have very many pieces developed, so would you say that Mark's looking better just because he's got more pawns?
Yeah, I mean his three pawns up, and White's king is just massively exposed.
It's quite far from castling on the queen side, and it doesn't want to castle on the king side.
Mm. And he can't castle just yet, so for a couple of reasons. His piece is in the way, and also the black queen
check,
is
right?
it's blocking the d1 square. I'm less keen on this. And there's actually quite a nasty idea that he could have gone for, which was queen f2, which would be protected by the knight, putting the king in check again. So. But yeah, we don't have that, but we have had the queen trade.
Vid's side is looking very open, very dangerous.
Yes. Though now the queens are out, there are fewer like easy ways to attack the king, so he may be okay. But yeah, that pawn as well. That's just going to be hard to defend.
There's just kind of waiting, asking to be taken.
Yeah. I imagine Mark will go for the trade knight for bishop, and he does.
Because you want bishops in these sort of open games, don't you? Bishops are better than knights, I think.
I think there's a decent argument for that. Also, just you're ahead on material. Might as well trade pieces.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you think Mark should be trying to take some more pieces out now? Get the rooks out?
I like the idea of castling, which he does, because it now brings his rook in the perfect position.
To attack that E4 square,
Which is, it's just in trouble, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, he could bring his own rook in to defend it. What else is it suggesting here? There's the idea that you could go to g5 with the knight as well.
That's an interesting move.
Yeah,
I feel like he's maybe just meant to pick a one move.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we've got the knight trade coming up, I imagine. Mm-hmm. And
mark up another pawn.
Marks up another pawn, as you say. Though. He was mocking me yesterday for me having my 6 pawns that hadn't moved, and he's got 7 pawns that haven't moved.
You've been forced into it.
Yeah. Certainly, it's been quite a spicy game so far. But yeah, Vid's just got all of his pieces stuck in the corner.
Just trade.
Yeah.
I feel like we could see some extra queens from Mark here.
Yeah, and
some of the pawns on the left.
The pawns are becoming more valuable because they have lots of chances to try and promote.
Yeah.
So
I learned that the hard way in my last game.
Mm-hmm.
the pawns did me dirty.
So Vid's got the right idea. He's activating his king, and the king is better than a pawn because it can go in any direction, whereas pawns are very restricted, only being able to go forwards and diagonally when taking. Kings are quite useful for trying to tear apart pawns.
Should Mark try and maybe start attacking the all weak pawns on the right now?
I mean he's got all of the ideas really. Just could even just try and advance the H pawn.
He's just left that pawn hanging.
Yeah, Mark should spot that, I think.
Yeah, because that bishop's not protecting anything anyway yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and actually now the bishop's getting involved, and it's looking even worse.
Attacking that knight, yeah.
Yeah. Killian's made the comment that Vid doesn't like moving his knights, and
No.
in the opening it did seem that way.
Nick's wanting me to shout a bit more, I think.
Just start yelling at the top of your lungs.
Mark is still above 9 minutes, interestingly enough.
Yeah, well,
Process.
he hasn't had too much of a tough game so far.
Yeah, it's just he got up quickly, and then it's just been a lot of trade, accept the trade.
Mm-hmm. Whereas if it was very closed, lots of pieces still left on the board, it's harder. It's more complicated, and you have to take more time to think.
Think this is attacking this, or this needs defended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you've just got so much space. You can do pretty much any move you like.
Mm. Mark could probably get his rook into it after this, or does he want it there to protect his pawns?
Yeah, I doubt. I think he'll go for the trade again.
You think?
Yeah. It just makes the most sense, I think.
It depends how confident he is in his ability to get a pawn promoted, I guess.
Yeah, well, his chances are good. Vid's only pawns that are left are on either side of the board. He's going to have a hard time defending both of them. So.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah, and he's even got this e4 pawn that's really far advanced that he has to be wary of. So I'll be surprised if we don't see a queen.
For the trade.
Mm-hmm. Oh dear. Nick's saying that Vid's got all his hopes and dreams in that one pawn, and it's gone.
Instantly. It would be fun to see Mark get 4 queens.
And actually, the more queens you have on the board, if you don't put your opponent in check, you're increasing the probability of a stalemate, and I think that would be the most hilarious end to this game. If this ends in a stalemate, I'll love it. Alright, he's not able to defend both of these pawns unless he moves his rook over to e8. Anything else isn't good enough. Well, actually, no. He can also check the king with f3. Actually, either of those would be okay. We'll see what he does. He's taking his time to think, which is reasonable. But it's also not the end of the world if he does lose a pawn, because he's still got 6 more. Yeah, that's doing a good job of defending that. Oh, I think we lost you for a sec, but I think you're back.
Yeah. Okay, so what have I done?
Literally nothing. So yeah, Mark just defended the pawn that was under threat, and that's it. That's you all caught up.
Yeah, I think I even saw that move. I've been thinking.
Ballsy move.
Yeah.
It would have worked better if he first slid his rook over to a4 and then tried to take the free pawn on a7. Whereas now he's just trying to batter down this quite heavily defended little bit right here. Yeah, that rook has too many jobs at the moment, so
Yeah.
he's got to abandon something. And yeah.
So should my move is okay, fair. I was gonna say maybe move the B1, B7 pawn up.
Yeah, that would
Possibly.
also work. I mean, he can really just not go wrong unless he like hangs his rook. Basically, it's going to be tough.
Well, the computer's suggesting king E3 to try and
Yeah.
try to advance that F pawn. You can take it without being checked by the other pawn.
Yeah.
Seems all a bit hopeless.
It's certainly going to be tough. That was the wrong direction, unfortunately. The pawn can advance. He can, yeah. It's the most logical move. Yeah, and then he can just progress the pawn even further if he wants to.
So this one we check to deflect a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is kind of pinned there, isn't it?
Sorry.
Not pinned, but you'd have to go the long round to get out of it.
Who's king?
Vit's king, sorry.
Ah, right. Yeah, I mean it can't move forward at all because of these two pawns. They've made a strong barrier. And yeah, he's just the one step away from queening up.
Yeah. You should sort it for the right time to do it.
Mhm. And
Oh,
progressing
that mate in one.
progressing
No,
the pawn, the e pawn, is the best idea here.
Does that not leave the other pawn time?
It loses that pawn, but then the next turn you can get a queen.
You can get the queen, yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
and even worse, it puts the king in check, and you can then take the white's rook on c3. So it's like doubly bad for Vid.
Yeah. Yeah, if he throws the queen and he's left his way. Yeah.
Hmm. So he only has the one. Well, actually, I guess he's got the two moves. He can either take or he can go to g2.
Me too, yeah. I feel like he'll play. It just seems like it.
It's the logical move, but he's definitely screwed. Putting it politely. Yeah, there's not a lot that he can do here, and Mark should be able to wrap this one up. Yeah, he goes for the take, and now he's lost his rook.
And he's not done a map and promoted to a rook.
Yeah. I did actually get an explanation from Maps
Yeah,
about
he
that.
said he didn't want to risk a stalemate.
Yeah, which is fair enough. If you're confident enough with the two rooks, then why not?
Yeah. My ego to do that, I won't know.
Nick saying the March of the Pawns. I'd love to see the whole 8 minutes of this.
Yeah, he's got time.
I think he's going to try and go for the checkmate.
You can go down, check on C, yeah, and then take this pawn.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really need to even take the pawns at this point.
Yeah. And if you want 5 kings, you do. 5 queens, you do.
Increasing your chance of stalemate, though, I feel.
That's true. Really loud,
Yeah, I feel like Queen E2 is natural. Is probably what he's going to go for. Yeah. And then only the one legal move, which is to go to G1.
Yeah.
And then mate in 2, and he's got lots of ways to do it.
Yeah, just move the rook to the right a bit to prepare for it. the checkmate.
Yeah.
The queen 10 on the.
Or even just slide the rook over to a3 and then down. That would also work. Yeah, the king. Yeah, the king can move to h1, and actually that's probably the thing that had the highest chance of stalemate. But that's not going to work. That works to f1, or even queen to f1. Yeah.
F1, yeah.
Right, that's the first game done. People are liking the soundtrack. Yeah, that's Overkill by Riot. It's quite epic. It's one of my favourites. Cool. So we're going to go for a short break. We are a little bit behind schedule, so we're going to try and set up the next game in the next couple minutes. But yeah, we'll be back shortly. See you soon. Yeah. No longer having that pin on the or potential pin on the bishop. So now it's gone back to
I
even
assume
Stevens.
the logic is to try and attack black's pawn with the rook now, but that is too late.
He should just go for it and attack with the pawn. Oh, apparently he's now hanging mate in
says
3.
Engine.
Are you on it?
See, I
Okay,
see
go
this
for it.
queen f7 check as the beginning.
Okay.
Um,
And
f7 check, queen f8 check, rook takes mate.
The king's stuck in the corner.
oh my life, that's what the vision is, and it's gone. It's
We've
gone.
done another
Oh no.
All right, and we're back. That was the shortest break that we've had the entire tournament. It's just because we're a little bit behind schedule. But yeah, I will fix the name tags and the score so that people can keep track. Right. So what do you make of the opening?
So. I don't know if I'm qualified to say.
I think it's quite.
A pawn. What's it called? A pawn. Diagonal. Online.
What, like you can take the pawn? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. When you have the pawns on diagonals, like that's what the sets out.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
From black, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So black's given up the centre by going for the taking option. If he allowed Mark to take instead, then he'd be able to retain the centre by taking back with the f pawn. So now it's going to be difficult for him to retake control of the centre. So it's definitely Mark's advantage here.
Just getting pieces out, get ready to castle.
Mm-hmm.
Or to do your castle.
Yeah, some pretty solid development by Mark here, and he can just take with the pawn. That's fine. He will probably have to escape with his bishop though.
Yeah, so it's like queen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
John, is you it's on my Twitch that your stream has ended?
Hold on. I think it's back.
It's not there anymore.
I think it's back.
Okay.
We dropped for a sec, but don't worry. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine.
Yeah. Okay, so it's similar pattern to the last time we played, losing a lot of pawns early.
Yeah.
Black has 2 pawns moved this time, though, as opposed to 1 last time.
Yeah, indeed. Right. I think your camera might have frozen, actually.
Okay.
So I don't think that's a network issue on my end.
Okay.
I definitely did drop the stream momentarily though.
Right, okay.
That's okay.
I
We're
was
back.
soon back up on my computer. And my Wi-Fi dropped, so I connected to my phone's hotspot, but so it's
Okay.
still frozen.
Yeah, it's still frozen. Maybe if you want to stop sharing your camera and then get it back,
Yeah.
that might fix it. Yeah,
Alright.
that does it. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, nice. You should take the trade here for the rook, right?
Yeah, he should take the. Oh wait a minute, the engine's come out with some ideas.
Queen to h5.
Yeah, so that would put the king in check, and
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
so
it moves to the
let's just have a look at these. So what could he have done? Blocked with the pawn, and then queen takes. No, wait, then back to e2. Right, I don't understand. Computers are weird.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
yeah.
he did the take a huge trade.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
This is
you know,
bad, right? It's like definitely like a winning move.
yeah. Swapping a bishop for a rook is always what you should be trying for.
Yeah. You should allow yourself to attack pawn with
Mhm.
the queen and offer the trade he wants, I guess. Worked well for the last
Or
round.
indeed just take it with the knight because
With the-
because
yeah,
he's
and
not
then that's very well.
he's not
Yeah.
going to take it back with the queen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Vid's turn at the moment, so we'll see what he tries. I would like to see a pawn push by Vid. I
And
mean,
the five pawn.
yeah, with the d5 pawn. But we'll see what he
Not
does.
looking so badly on time this time. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, both of these games have been so open that time's not really a problem.
Tell me catch up with your set.
Mhm. Yeah,
After me and Matt taking it to the wire both times.
indeed.
Yes, it's having a big thing about this. What does the computer want him to do? E4.
Yeah. He says, yeah, it's trying to.
That's what you're saying, the pawn push, yeah.
Mhm.
Saying
And,
move the piece and the queen will be able to protect the knight on d5.
yeah. Yeah, okay, I just checked the stream and it is definitely up. So, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's sorting out my anxiety for now.
Okay, so that's at least he's protecting that
Yeah,
pawn a bit more now.
which is fair enough, but that pawn's going to be a struggle to keep alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can also bring in the knight to the defense if he really wants to keep it, but it's not really worth tying up your entire defense just to
On a pawn, yeah.
just to do that. Yeah, so if he moves the rook over to e1, then that actually pins the bishop.
Yeah.
Um,
So then he can, the pawn can have free reign again.
yeah, again, yeah, exactly. So that would be
Yeah.
quite a nice move, and it actually feels reasonably natural to do as well.
Yeah, I think that's the sort of thing, I mean, Mark's rating is probably about 100 higher than mine. That's the sort of thing, miss, like pinning pieces and things like that. But he does find it, so that's good.
Indeed.
So yeah, that pawn is now, Mark has two attackers on it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have one defender. So that's good.
Yeah, exactly. But he can remove the pin if he moves his king.
Yes, true.
So actually, the rook can just take that bishop. That's free. And he does.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah. So once the computer wants him to walk with the knight, that's when he'll still be able to castle at some point eventually, so he doesn't have to move his king.
Yeah, though.
Obviously, you don't want to
I mean that's also like a perfectly acceptable move as well, because you're threatening to take the rook. Obviously, the rook's going to move back or to the side, but you know it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, maybe attack that pawn again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these games are certainly quite high octane. You got to give Vid the credit for that.
Yeah, it's making it very open, which is entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Open other than the top right corner every time.
I've just checked the chat and they've asked what happens if all 3 games are stalemates, and Killian's said that it's going to be a bullet game, and Nick's just misinterpreted what that means. Can't say on stream.
I can only see good moves, and I feel like my chat's not big.
It's the comment behind that.
When I actually find it to be my most difficult comment.
Yeah. And I've lost your camera again. Oh dear.
Our Wi-Fi really isn't the best.
Okay, you're back. That's good. Okay.
So should I think should maybe getting more attackers onto that. The rook is attacking the queen, or what is it going to be for? Queen d5. Yeah, so getting another attacker onto the rook.
Yeah, indeed, and even just you're starting to mount some sort of offensive onto the onto White's king as well. There is a potential for back rank checkmate here.
On mark, yeah.
On mark. If he moves his queen away somewhere off that diagonal that goes to the d1 square. If he moves over to say b5.
Oh, the computer does not like that move.
No. So the idea here is queen takes rook, queen takes queen, and then king takes, and then you just gained a rook.
Right. Yeah.
So hopefully he spots it. Any other move, and it's back massively in Mark's favour. So hopefully he gets this one.
Yeah, it's sometimes tough to tell if giving up your queen is the best option, but if you're gaining a rook, then.
It seems like you have a fan in the chat. Nick's asking if you're single.
I'm not, sadly, for Nick. Although I believe Nick is also not single.
Oh.
So I don't know how he's unless he's asking for a friend.
He finds the move.
Oh, he does find the move, okay.
That is fantastic. We want Vid to win the game, just so that we get another tiebreaker. We love those. So
they're not my favourite at this point in time.
what, the tie breaks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean that saves the pawn, so why not, right?
And then the bishop can come protect it soon as well. Not the bishop.
So yeah, the best move according to the computer is the rook checking the king, but it's not really that natural because it's not accomplishing anything. So I guess the computer just thinks it puts you in a slightly better position on the board. Though I don't understand why he's done that.
No, I don't know what that's.
Unless he's wanting to go down to c4 and then try and capture the pawn that way.
Potentially, yeah. Or the computer wants him to do rook a7.
Which is kind of go back to where you were.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think the rook could be trapped if knight goes to e7,
Yeah.
and then it's just inevitable death as the king deals the finishing blow on the rook. And it's not actually the least obvious thing to go for. It feels quite natural. Oh, that's a shame. He didn't find it. And actually, the g7 pawn's now hanging.
Yeah.
But that was
Yeah, there you go.
that was almost very bad for Mark.
Mhm. Yeah, just slightly even. Vaguely even.
Mhm.
We'll see.
Yeah. Even on material, Mark's got a couple of issues. So his pawns are kind of bad for 3 reasons. For one thing, they're in like 3 separate chunks, which means it's harder to defend, like have them defend each other. He's got doubled pawns on c-file, which just reduces maneuverability, and then he's also blocking his king and potentially having back rank problems as well. So that's probably why it's so in favour of Vid. But yeah.
Yeah, once the computer wants him to retreat his rook, get him out of that kind of hole.
That would work.
Are you excited for the Nick and Killian games follow on, John?
Well, I get to find out who my opponent's going to be, so that's exciting.
Oh, that's true as well. So Nick and Killian were flatmates for a few years after how many games of in real life chess they played. On not on chess.com.
But in real life,
I imagine it's none, but we can ask them.
Okay. Well, maybe there's a potential grudge match in there somewhere. It's a shame that it wouldn't be Nick versus Ronan, because Ronan's username is gonna beat Nick.
Gonna beat Nick, yeah. So for that, would that need to be the final?
If Nick has to make his way to the final, and Ronan's got to beat Adrito to make the final on the other side of the bracket.
Okay.
Yeah, taking there quite sensible. The king's going to take back, and so he still has the sort of positional advantage. Though he really needs to activate his rook, and he does that by moving his knight. So hopefully he kind of figures that out soon before it's too late. And he does, which is good.
Yeah, but you can move it to a square with protected the pawn, right? So the pawn's now just hanging.
The pawn is hanging, so he's down a pawn, but that isn't the end of the world.
You'd rather have a knight than a few pawns here. Although the game is very even, just according to the bar.
And I think part of that is just Mark's back rank problems. So a move that seems quite innocuous would be something like Rook E8, and you're one move away from checkmate at that point.
Vid is also very down on times now, but he should have enough with you.
Yeah, he should have enough. They are taking more than 5 seconds with each move, so their clock is running down. But yeah, they're going to have less time to think going forward. He finds it.
Oh, but the computer does not like it.
So Rook takes F6, puts the king in check. That's why it doesn't like it.
Allow the check.
Yeah. And there's the potential that Vid's going to block himself if he retreats his king going forwards.
Oh.
Okay, he defends the back rank.
He's worried about the back rank, yeah.
And that's fair enough.
Fair, yeah.
He should probably try and move his knight.
Gets it.
Yeah. And actually he can start using the knight to try and take some of these pawns, especially on the left hand side. Yeah, just been trying to think if there's some cheeky way that you can use the knight to block the escape on G2, but actually there isn't, because any knight space that it can go to try and do that is under threat from a pawn. So, so yeah, that's actually like the perfect pawn to push if you're Mark.
Nick is confirming they never played in real life chess.
Okay,
There were other activities going on apparently.
fair enough.
We should be able to see their whole chess history on chess.com if anyone's interested.
Yeah, I think kind of the idea here is rook over to one of these open files on the left hand side, either B or D, and then you can start harassing these pawns.
Which aren't able to protect each other.
Precisely. Right, so...
But this is an issue, right? Because, I was going to say, if Mark had checked, the king would have had to move, and he'd have been able to take the rook.
Well, he could have done the rook trade. He wouldn't be able to take it for free, because if it could have retreated to, say, like D7 or something. But yeah. Yeah, that knight's probably going to be tied up now, trying to defend that pawn. He doesn't have to worry about this pawn too much, because he can just slide the rook over to the c file. But yeah, he only has 40 or 50 seconds left.
Oh yeah, I've just noticed that, yeah. So he needs to start having some attempts at checkmate.
Yeah, indeed.
Mark, comfortable on time.
I see Matt's joined in the chat. He's been a co-caster with me previously, and he's cheering on our university friend vid.
Okay, I think some bias is okay if you're cheering on your university friend. I'm not cheering on Mark because he's my brother. I'm cheering on because he's my university friend.
Sibling rivalry.
Yeah, but you went to Strathclyde, so this is, have we got a Strathclyde versus Cambridge match here then?
It seems that way, yeah. So yeah, the move from the computer is this rook to c6, which just prevents the pawn from moving forward anymore. And then both rooks are occupied with that pawn, and you can use the knight to do other things. That's kind of the idea.
I think Mark is just going to win on time here, it seems, as long as he doesn't do anything silly.
Yeah, I think so. It's becoming increasingly difficult for Vid. He does have the advantage still, but yeah, it's tricky. He really needs to notice the fact.
Moving quicker than this,
yeah. He can't be taking 10 seconds per move, because that's only going to last 3 moves.
Yeah.
And that's not good enough. He can continue to push the pawn, or check the king, and then take the pawn on a5. Yeah, so now that rook's going to have to go back to c8.
Oh, it doesn't quite check.
Okay, the problem here is that he now can't stop the pawn from becoming a queen.
Yeah.
He can delay it with these checks, but now he can't check the king again.
No, he can't. Yeah. And if he takes the pawn, he's going to lose this.
And now he's going to lose his.
No, he's just going to get taken.
Yeah. Yeah, precisely. So yeah, Mark should be able to wrap this one up.
Hopefully, there's no resignation. That's not what we want to see.
Yeah, I would rather see a timeout than a resignation.
Yeah.
But what I'd actually like to see is Mark fail to checkmate. I think that'd be hilarious. Can happen. Can happen.
They're just going for the checks.
Okay, I just read Nick's comment about how they weren't playing chess.
Yeah.
Spicy. Okay, we've got a Mason 1 if he goes to d3. Yeah, didn't quite get that one. So yeah, if we go back actually, so d3. The reason why that works is it's protected by the pawn, and it's covering all of these squares, that pawn can't be taken, and that pawn's covering that square as well, so that's completely smothered. But let's go back. He's made another queen by progressing that pawn up there.
Hence the ladder checkmate here.
Yeah. Which he should be able to find.
Yeah.
Lots of ways to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure he will find it.
Yeah, that's one way. Makes it a lot simpler. Hopefully he doesn't go to the G file and try and ladder checkmate him to the other side of the board. Okay, he's done the more sensible thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a few mates in one on the board there, but we're going to have just the one more move, I think. Yeah, and that's game. Well done to Mark. That's quite impressive. We are going to switch over to a short break before the interviews, and so we'll be joining you again shortly. Oh, that looks good for me. So checking his king, attacking his rook. So I think I should be able to kind of wrap up after this. It's just making sure I don't make mistakes from here on out. Oh, is he trying to stalemate? Oh, that's clever. Okay. Right, I just got to make sure that I check him every turn. And okay, yeah, I think this is done now. Can go this way. Alright, and we are back. So I'm joined with the two contestants, and also Sean's with me as well. Actually, Sean, I think we've lost your camera, so are you able to,
I'll do
to fix that? Cheers. Okay, so generally, like, how did you feel in those games, Vid? What were your general feelings?
Yeah, not very good. Yeah, I feel like there was one point when at some point I make a mistake and then it was just the rest of the game was kind of over.
I noticed that you were offering a lot of trades. Is that kind of just your general play style? Just try and get rid of all the pieces?
Yeah, I think I'll sacrifice one of my pieces. If I think the other player is better, I'll just sacrifice one for one.
Mm. Yeah, and that is fair enough, I suppose. Mark. So, what was your general strategy in those games? Like, were you just going along with the trades? Were you trying to look for checkmate opportunities? Like, what were you trying to do?
Yes, the first game was like mad. Like I've never played a game like that. I think it was just the doors opened. I didn't like. I basically was just running around with one piece for half of it. But like my accuracy is 98%, which has obviously never been higher. So I mean, I must have been doing the right things.
Nice.
And the second game, I decided pretty early that I was going to try and win on time because I noticed that Vidur used a lot. So I was like, just be safe, and then I'm pretty sure he was going to time it before me. But then when I managed to get the queen, double queen at the end, pretty easy, like ladder, checkmate kind of thing.
Yeah, fair enough. And yeah, certainly you both went quite rapid towards the end. When did you start to notice that you were in a bit of time trouble, Vid?
Probably when I started showing the decimals.
Ah, yeah, that's a bit of a tell. I think it gets to that point when you've got like 20 seconds left. So yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, so Vid, I noticed both in this this match and also in our match last week, when you're white, you do this. You push the G pawn to G4. Is that something you like learned from like a YouTube video or something like? Why do you do that?
No, I hadn't even noticed that myself. No.
Oh, okay. You just like it, so you go with it.
Yeah, I don't really know what to do in the first moves. I just move some pawn, I guess.
Yeah.
It just I guess happens to be G.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you have any questions for our guys, Sean?
Did Mark? I know. Did you watch my game with Matt earlier? Have you been taking notes for your next round? Learn anything?
What, from your game?
Mm-hmm.
Well, for Matt being your next opponent.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. No, I might have to go and watch that one back, to be honest. Yeah, we'll do that actually. I forgot about that.
If you end up in a tiebreak, I would watch out for queens being left open.
Yeah, I think if someone leaves the queen open, I'll probably just take it.
Take it. Yeah, that's fair. That's a good strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Matt's a bit more aware of that now, so he is probably going to be on the eye out for that himself.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have a bit of a beef with you, Mark, because in my interview yesterday, you made a comment about me leaving my pawns on the back rank, on the second rank, and in the first game, I mean, I only had 6 pawns left on row 2, but you had 7. What do you make of that?
I'll direct you straight to my accuracy score. You can't. I mean, I'm making the correct move 98% of the time, so obviously it was the right thing to do to leave my pawns there. What else can you say, really?
A good rebuttal.
That is a solid rebuttal. I'm surprised with an accuracy score of 98%. We're not hearing accusations of cheating, actually.
But doing moves, I just thought like obviously initially I would always move my middle pawn straight up. But like there's just quite a lot of trading going on, and I was happy to just do it. So yeah.
That's fair enough. So Vid, now you've seen Mark play. What do you think of his chances in the losers bracket? Do you think he might be able to go all the way?
Who else is there? It's me, him, and who are the losers? Sorry.
So the people who are left in are Matthew and Johnny and Mark F as well. So both Marks.
Wait, so there's 2 Marks,
yeah.
And there's a Matt who's not Matt Jones, right?
Oh no! Wait, sorry. No. It's sorry, Mark F, Matt, who's like an old school friend of mine, and Johnny.
Alright, so there's 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Are any of the other guys good?
Okay. Oh well, you know Johnny at least. You know Johnny at least, don't you?
I saw him play you at one time at his house. That's.
I think Johnny's quite high. His rating's quite high. He played quite well in his first game of the compilation.
His rating is a little bit deceptive because he's not played many games.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has won a lot of his games that he has played, but it's a small sample size. So yeah. Okay, I'm not sure we really got an answer from that one, but
I think it'll be close.
It'll be close. That's what we like to hear. We like close games. It makes things exciting. Yeah, exactly. Well, Mark, you walk away with at least £4 in your pocket as your £10 buy-in. So yeah, buzzing's the right sort of answer.
Feels like a big money.
Yeah, and it escalates if you win your next game, and even if you win the whole, losers bracket, you'll make a profit on your £10 buy-in.
Exactly, that's what it's all about.
So yeah, quick question for Sean before we sign off and move on to the next match. Are you going to be helping Mark train, or are you going to be helping Matthew train?
For the integrity of the tournament, I'll probably do neither.
Do neither. Okay.
That's probably good for me and Matthew.
My win rating is I wouldn't say high. I'm not probably qualified for that.
Okay, fair enough. Well, thank you both for joining us, and good luck, Mark, going forward.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for the game, yeah.
Cheers.
Good stuff.
Cheers, bye.
Right, we're going to cut to a quick break while we set up the next match. So yeah, join us shortly for that.
Give it away, Killian.
That's chess.
As always, you can catch mine and Nick's podcast about That's Chess on Tuesday evenings. Available straight after the John and Ralph matchup, actually. So tune into that, listeners. Please.
Available on LimeWire exclusively.
Also available with a premium couch tuner and Movies 123 subscription.
Is this like your hook? Is every other line is just fake news?
No. It's chess is other line.
Yeah, you alternate between the two of them.
Is any of this true? Well, that's chess. Actually, John, let's get some insightful questions here. We haven't had many. How are your stress levels? You know, are you sweating? Your heart rate? What was going through your mind?
Check your Fitbit.
So during the games or during the stream?
During the games. I mean, that's chess.
In life.
Very smooth here.
That is so smooth. I'm impressed. Were you actually a radio announcer in your past life?
Like one, Jesus Christ.
I've dabbled. I've dabbled, John.
He's the one that you get at like 4 in the morning that no one listens to.
Alright.
It's called, and you may have guessed the title already. It's
Chess.
Well, isn't that chess, Nika?
Chess, folks.
Them beforehand, and they're okay with it. So.
Yeah, that's fair. With the catchphrase, that's chess.
My life.
That's chess.
You know what they say, John? That's chess.
That's. I mean, clearly he didn't agree, but that is chess.
Yeah. And spoiler alert, that is. That's chess.
As always, you can catch mine and Nick's podcast about That's Chess on Tuesday evenings. Available straight after the John and Ralph matchup, actually.
Is this like your hook? Is every other line is just fake news?
No. It's chess is other line.
Yeah, you alternate between the two of them.
Is any of this true? Well, that's chess.
I'm glad.
That is chess. During games, I mean, that's chess. Sadly, that's chess, but there you go. Schools, and you may have guessed the title already.
That's chess.
A bit of a tricky one for Joe to figure out what to do. What the computer's suggesting is this E5 move, which is going to crack open the centre that White's developed for himself. And he's got quite a strong defensive line with his pawns, and the only piece that he's not defended that well is this bishop. So that move, and he does it. Right, we are back. They're just about to kick off, and now we're off. So Nick's in the white and Killian's in black. So I'm joined by Mark in the commentary booth. So I just changed that name tag so that reflects that. I think we're struggling to get the camera, but that's okay. Mark, can you hear me? Can you say something? That's concerning. I can't hear you, so that's not great. Right. Okay. Well, okay. We've got a London system at the moment, which is quite a solid opening for white. I know both of these players like that sort of play, so I imagine we'll probably get the same deal when Killian's in white as well. So yeah, interesting to see how their play differs though when they actually go into the middle game. Yeah, just pretty solid development from both sides, to be honest. Neither has really taken much of their opponent's space.
I joined back, sorry, my Wi-Fi is a joke.
Okay, good. I imagine we can't get your camera. It doesn't seem to be working, but that's okay. For some reason it's not coming through to my computer, so that might be an issue on my end, but no worries.
No worries.
We can have you in radio form. Okay, yeah, this is a nice move. So what it's doing is it's making a knight outpost, which is this idea that the knight can't be taken without the pawn being able to take back, which is quite a nice idea. And it just means it's putting a lot of pressure on a lot of these forward positions, right in the middle of his defence. So lots of potential there. I almost suggested a blunder. I almost suggested moving to g6, trying to fork the queen and the rook, but that would have been bad because he could have just been taken back. So never mind that. Okay, this is slightly better for black, I think, just because white's pawn structure has been broken a little bit. He can fix it by moving his f-pawn forward, but otherwise that pawn's just isolated. So have you played much against either of these players, Mark?
I only played Killian in my first round match. Obviously, I never played against Nick. I think Killian, I have to say, would be the favourite for the tournament.
You think so?
He was pretty strong.
Certainly, he and Ronan, who I only recently found out are twin brothers. I can't believe I didn't realise this until like literally a couple of days ago.
I didn't know that.
But they have the standout ratings for the entire tournament, being both 1300s. They're both very strong. I imagine we'll have a twin brother versus twin brother final. That'll be quite interesting.
It'll be really interesting because they obviously have played each other a lot. So.
Which is probably why they're so good.
Yes. But Nick seems to be holding his own so far.
Yeah. We have a very closed game at the moment.
like not many places for black to sort of go and attack on the right hand side. I mean, for one thing, that diagonal is completely covered by these pawns. I'm talking about the F to H diagonal for the queen, for the black queen. So it can't make any progress there, and the pawn on E6 stops it trying to do the same thing on the light squares. So yeah, he can't really make an attack on the right hand side of the board, so we're seeing all the action on the left hand side instead. Right, so this is a tricky one for Nick to see, but he needs to move his king. It's suggesting F2 or E2, and I think that's unfortunate. Yeah, it's because Killian can take this E3 pawn, which I think is his entire plan. And that's just going to be big trouble for Nick, and he finds it. He's right in the middle of his defences, and and Nick's pieces are just on the wrong side of the board to try and deal with this. On the plus side, it's going to be difficult for Killian to bring in a friend to help out the queen, because they're all, struggling to get over there. But I think the G3 pawn is on the chopping block.
100%. That's where he's going now. So. Yeah.
And slowly, White's pawn structure is just going to disintegrate like it's been Thanos snapped.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely work for Killian. Just picking off these pawns, it'll do a lot for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanos and Endgame in the same sentence. That's
yeah, don't DMCA us for that, please. Okay, he's trying to defend the pawn, which is okay, and obviously he can't take the F4 pawn either, because that's defended by White's queen. So he's going to probably use his pawns that he has available to try and just disrupt things.
Yeah, I think that's all he can do now is push a couple pawns up.
Mm-hmm.
Opts for the dim rim maneuver.
Yeah, I think it's situationally not that bad. Because it can re-maneuver back to C4, which
C4 looks like a great spot for it.
Yeah. So I think that's actually an okay, rim maneuver.
A less dim.
Yeah. And actually going back to C6 might be an idea, even though he just came from there, just so that he can harass the queen even more.
Right. I was gonna obviously you can't go to C4 anymore because it's covered by next knight as well.
Yeah. That also works. And the queen's going to have to retreat, and if he goes to the E3 square, he's offering the trade, but I think Killian's the sort of player that he'll want to keep his queen around just to cause even more damage rather than going for a trade.
Yeah.
And that's not so good. So yeah, it's not hanging a queen because it's still protected by the bishop.
Yeah.
But the problem is, that pawn's now not protected. And White's just slowly unraveling here. Do you know whose Twitch name is Great Chesticles?
No, I don't. I'm not even looking at chat, so
okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, he's offering inside information to anyone who wants to buy it from him. So maybe he'll get a few business offers. Okay, he's gone for the queen
I
trade.
believe. Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, his 3 pawns ahead, which is more than he needs. These G and H pawns can just go up the board, and there's, he can protect them with the rooks, and cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, I think Killen will be feeling very comfortable.
Yeah.
2 pieces up here.
Yeah. And he finds the best move, which is this D pawn push. Again, protected by the rook, but the one of the key things here is that the knight's doing 2 jobs, and actually he just ends up taking the knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's less good. The trade's not really what you want to be doing.
Yeah, not in Nick's position.
No, and he can even go for another one if he wants. That's kind of what he's offering. Nick should keep both of his rooks on though, because it's going to be even harder for him to try and catch up if he's losing one of his major pieces. So I think the rook that's in the corner should probably go to the D column.
Yeah, I thought that's what he would play.
He didn't go for it, but he went for a sort of reasonable move as well, which is just taking that free pawn. Nothing wrong with that. That's certainly one of my favourite things to do. Oh, we've got Magnus Carlsen in the chat. That's great chesticles, apparently. It's an honour to have you. Okay, so he's opted to defend the pawn, which is kind of diffusing the aggressive idea that White had with that rook move.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be tempted to just harass that rook there by moving the knight to the c4 square.
Yeah.
I mean, that feels quite good to me.
Yeah, and just exchange the knight for the rook again with the pawn.
Yeah, or even if the rook just decides to retreat, you now got your knight in a stronger position.
Yeah.
And you could even try and take the pawn on e5 if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way for for White to defend against that, I don't think.
Yeah.
Something that he might want to do is move the rook up to d8, putting the king in check, and then that has a trade of the rooks. He's kind of in a dire situation now anyway.
Yeah. I think anything he does is going to be losing, but it's just something.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think Great Chesticles has just said that it's a it's sort of like named doppelganger. He's not that Magnus Carlsen. He's a different one. Okay.
What coincidence.
Great coincidence. It's good to see, chats being such a, friendly community. People saying like, "How are you?" and all that sort of stuff. It's great to see. It makes quite a change from the community that we had yesterday, where Sean was being quite toxic. So, I think Sean's turned over a new leaf.
I think he's given up after the loss today.
Ah, okay. His competitive spirits just died.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's gone for the rook trade, which is
it does happen.
Fair enough. but yeah, he's got a very lonely pawn and just that one rook, which isn't going to be able to do much.
I wonder if Gillen's just going to chase his rook around the bottom.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he moves the... Yeah, that also works. That's probably better, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay, so he's given up on his attacking ideas, and now we're just going to see the pawn fly down the g-file. Okay, he's realised that he has to try and stop this. And there's not too many ways to try and deal with that. Okay. If I was being mean, I'd move either the f or the h pawn and try and do the same idea. And eventually you're going to run into the situation where you're attacking the rook, right? So
yeah.
And the disrespect is not even paying attention to the b pawn.
He doesn't. Yeah, doesn't care. Maybe he'll take it now.
No, I think he's going to push the g pawn. Oh no. He's just smothering that rook. I think he can just continue to ignore that c pawn now, and just continue with this idea.
Yeah.
Indeed, he does.
Yeah.
Okay, now end of the nonsense. he's put an end to that. Yeah, push the right pawn first, and I would push the h pawn here.
Yeah,
he
definitely.
does. Yeah, and now there's no way to stop the rook from escaping, and actually moving his king the way that he did prevented the escape.
He takes a bishop.
Oh, the disrespect.
That can't go down well.
Oh, that's beautiful. Clearly, so confident that he can win with what he has left. He's now trying to promote. He's just toying with his food like a cat.
What piece do you think he'll make this? I think he'll just make it a knight.
He'll do another bishop, I think, or a knight. Yeah.
I'd like to see a knight.
Maybe he'll put an end to the shenanigans and make a queen. Who knows?
He's thinking about it.
He still has the mate in 3 option if he upgrades it to a rook. So maybe he's going to prove his worth by doing that.
He's really thinking about it.
He is.
Tough decision.
He's gone for it. So there's still a mate in 2, and that wasn't it. Though now this is. Oh, okay, he missed it. If he went to. Oh, yeah, it doesn't really matter, does it? At this point, it doesn't matter. But yeah, 3 rooks on the board. You don't see that often.
No, definitely not.
Someone was rooting for Nick to win on time. I think that was unlikely.
That was Magnus in the chat there.
Yeah, indeed. Even if he's a fake Magnus, we're still glad to have him.
But no, quite an interesting game, especially at the start. I thought Nick started off well. But yeah, Killian seems to like these games where it's really closed off and someone has to make the first move.
Yeah, and then he just pounces whenever an error has been made.
Yeah.
Okay, well we're going to go to a short break while we make sure the next game's being set up. So see everyone shortly. Then just following up.
Yeah.
Did you realise that you had that situation 3 times and you only just spotted it on the 3rd time?
Well, of course, now I realise that. No, of course, I didn't realise, or I would have gone for it. So I guess I was freaking out. I was like styling on him. No, I was freaking out because my king was under some heavy pressure at the time. So
yeah,
I was getting that tunnel vision.
And I recall actually that you were quite low on time on that match as well. You had under a minute.
Time, yeah, I had a bit of a squeeze.
Yeah, but thankfully you caught that, so you had that tactic just in the nick of time. Going on to the f7 square,
forcing the king into the corner and then following up with a checkmate. So
yeah, it was a very satisfying one. So I can take that away.
Certainly, chat enjoyed that one a lot.
Nice.
What does the writing in the corner say?
Which corner?
Of your Twitch stream.
It's in the
right.
top right corner. So that's Japanese katakana, and it says Shijei no Chesu Ton. All right, and we're back. Very short break that time. So just going to change the name tags so that they're reflecting the right people. But yeah, we now have Nick in black and Killian in white. And I'll give a point to Killian as well. Might as well. He earned it. And as I predicted, they're probably going to go for another London.
Yeah. Killian actually promised me that if he won the first against Nick, he was going to do the opening where you swap the king and queen.
Oh.
I remember.
Okay.
But he doesn't appear to have done that.
No, he's gone for the Queen's Gambit, and Nick has accepted it. So he's a pawn up at the moment, Nick is, but it's very temporary because as soon as the e pawn is developed, White can just take back with the bishop.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a gambit, but it's just solid all round, and you gain a bit of development speed over your opponent, which is why people like it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think next turn he's going to be taking that pawn, and it's just not worth it trying to save it with a move such as b5, because that pawn is as good as dead. It's just a matter of time. So it's not really worth putting in the effort to try and save it. So I'll be surprised if he doesn't take back with the bishop this turn.
That's pretty standard for this opening, right? I think this would be the next move to take the bishop.
Yeah, should be. I think he might be contemplating pushing e5. He does neither.
Oh, okay.
He does neither. That's quite surprising. And actually, as far as the evaluation bar is concerned, it was reasonably even after that.
Yeah.
But again, actually gone back into White's advantage. So what should he have done instead? H6, chase away the bishop. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, move it away. He does take the.
No, he's taken it, and he has the advantage. He's got control of the centre. He's developed all his pieces. He's just looking very solid at the moment. And yeah, I don't know if what Chess.com's been smoking, but we've somehow transitioned from the Queen's Gambit accepted line to the Queen's Gambit declined line. Somehow, through all of those repositionings, we've ended up on a different line. But, whatever.
Okay.
Very weird.
Well, either way, Killian's looking good here. He's developed his pieces. I can see how it works well. Nick's fairly undeveloped.
Mm-hmm. And best thing that he can do again is this push on the H pawn. It pushes it to H6. It serves two purposes. It kicks away the bishop, and it also gives his king some breathing room.
Exactly, yeah.
So that would have been a good move. But instead he's decided to put pressure on White's c4 bishop. But yeah, we're actually still reasonably even. I do prefer White's position. He's got very strong central control with those knights and the pawns in the centre. And it's going to be difficult to try and take that back if you're Nick.
sneaky check. Doesn't really accomplish much though. Yeah, so blocking the check with the knight. And if he decides to go for the trade, it actually reinforces White's pawns. So the B pawn taking on C3, and then it's connected up with D4 and E5, which would be quite strong.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, and of course, actually, just noticing that Nick's queen is under attack, so he definitely shouldn't take. Well, actually, no, that still would have been okay because it put the king in check actually. So yeah, ignore me. But yeah, good thing he did check that his queen was under attack.
Yeah, I honestly didn't even notice that there. So.
Yeah, high quality commentary from both of us, I think.
So you think Killian's going to castle kingside at some point? Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Good prediction there.
For once.
Yeah, we're even on material still, but you just look at all of this, space that Killian's grabbed for himself. He is finally kicking away the bishop, so that's going to have to retreat. Mm-hmm. And actually, it's saying that it should go all the way back to C1, which is quite surprising. But computers are like that. I don't think he will. I think he'll do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so if I'm Nick, I'm a little bit concerned about the potential for attacks on my king side. So, a move by Killian such as bishop to c2 aligns that light square bishop on an offensive line towards the king. The queen can easily maneuver over to the right hand side of the board, and he's still got the other bishop and the knight that can get involved in some sort of attack as well. So I'd be quite concerned if I was Nick.
Yeah, definitely.
I quite like the idea of maybe going f5 here. So what it kind of does is it starts to put a little bit of pressure on how Killian can maneuver. Though this also is reasonably okay as well. That is just a lost bishop. It does leave the king quite exposed though, which may be why he's done it.
Yeah, so in Killian's past move he moved queen from d1 to c1, so I think he has some kind of plan here. Cover that bishop.
So according to the computer, if he wanted to take advantage of this, he should have taken the knight on c3, and then that would start to unravel Killian's position a bit.
Right.
But he hasn't gone for that, and he's gone for yet another sacrifice attempt with the bishop, and the king should take it. That's the best move.
And chess.com doesn't like this, but I just feel like Killian knows what he's doing, so he's got something.
For Nick's side of things, that his queen is in the right position for defensive maneuvers. It basically blocks all of White's ideas of getting the queen on the right side of the board, which is what I was primarily concerned with. So it's good. It's good that that's no longer a problem.
And he doesn't take, and the bar just goes crazy.
Yeah, it does. and yeah, that was a big mistake. That was a big mistake. So bishop taking the e5 pawn is the idea here.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's protected by that pawn, and yeah, you're just causing a lot of
no,
problems.
mate.
And it's gone again, and now he can take with the rook, which would be the best idea.
Yeah, it's done it there somehow.
Yeah, indeed. Hopefully he sees it. I mean, it's a free bishop, so it's kind of like one of those ones where it's kind of obvious. And
Yeah.
not only that, it also has some offensive ideas on white's king, which is perhaps why we like it even better.
Yeah. He must see it because
He must. He
You
probably
can
just
see it.
feels like it's a massive trap. That's probably why he's hesitating so much.
yeah, I think he's scared for some reason. But you should see that there's no reason to be right now.
Oh no!
Yeah, he doesn't want to take it.
He really doesn't want to. Why? Just why? Oh dear! And there's a potential massive problem here. So bishop takes e3. If he takes with the knight, then Killian can take with his knight and fork the queen and the rook.
Exactly.
Oh dear! This is bad.
So
This
I
is
presume
bad.
you shouldn't take here. You shouldn't take the bishop here.
No, that would be bad news, because that would be exchanging a bishop for a rook.
Yeah.
And again, the best thing that he can do is take the c3 knight. Yeah, this is a real shame for Nick, because he definitely had a big chance in this game, and it is slipping away from him. I think what he's trying to do is, I don't know. I'm trying to justify what he's doing, but somehow putting both his rook and his queen on the g file to try and do some sort of attack on the king, but now he's forked.
Yeah, he has still forked here.
Yeah.
So he needs to move the queen.
Yeah. Save the queen. And yeah. Yeah, that's just not good all round. Probably best thing that he can do is go to g5, then knight takes the free rook, and then do the queen trade, and then, you know, your king's exposed, but at least it's not under immediate problems. I think Killian's going to take here. I'll be surprised if he's just like toying around.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think I would have preferred the queen to take, but I mean, it's fine. Yeah. Yeah, there's just not too many ideas for Nick at the moment.
No. Yeah, I presume he needs to try and get his rook and his other bishop involved that haven't moved at all.
Yeah.
Just to disrupt something.
He does the best move, which is developing the
Yeah.
bishop, but it's yeah, a little bit too late to actually do anything at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I was Killian, I'd probably want to get my rook involved, the one that's on the f square, get it over to the e1, just slide it over the 1.
Yeah, just some more cover.
Mm.
I actually thought he might make that move. I don't really know.
And it's perfectly keeping the advantage. Like there's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that move. And yeah, he's going to have to escape. Best place to escape to is F8. Just keeping your options open going forward. Anything else, and you're kind of suffocating yourself a little bit.
Okay. What else can you do? You can only go F7 or F8, right?
Well, he can also block with the queen, which would be
okay.
the worst thing that he can do. That's mate in 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the better choice out of the 3.
Well, you can check again on F6, I suppose, and then take away the bishop.
F6 would
Or
give
would
up
you
the
think-
queen, because the queen can just take. Oh no, sorry, F6. F6. I thought you said G6.
No.
Yeah. That's a decent move.
Yeah.
And yeah, one of these check moves, either to H8 or H6, are pretty good.
Yeah.
And he goes for either of those. Yeah, so if I'm a black king, I'm thinking of escaping, and that's the space I'd escape to.
For sure.
So, a reasonably nasty move that he can do is bishop to H5, which is threatening the queen. Just forces the queen to go into a slightly awkward spot, which is the G8
Right,
one,
yeah.
which is the only safe place it can go. He goes for the free pawn instead, which is definitely fine.
Yeah. And Nick moving slightly low on time now, I think it'll be in his head.
Yeah. In this format where you get the 5 seconds back, you're not actually in as much time trouble as you think, but certainly like when you see the time suddenly going down to like 2 and then 1, it gets in your head for sure.
Yeah, I think in game definitely can get on top of you, but yeah, you have more time than you think, definitely.
Adrito's said, or Dr. Dreets rather, he said bishop d5 wins, h5 wins the queen, and we kind of addressed that. He can still go to g8, so not quite. Right, queen d6 check is the best one for that one, but he goes for this alternate check idea. Again, going to d6, which is covered by the bishop and also protects the bishop, is the best idea, and that forces the king to go to c8, and you're slowly smothering him at that point, and he finds it. Yeah, and again he finds the best move.
I think it'll just be frustrating after, because that bishop should have been off this board a long time ago.
Yeah, it was the one that was doing all of the sacrificing moves, and he just refused to take it, and it's causing problems.
Yeah.
And he's hung mate in 1, queen c7, and he should spot that.
Yeah. He will, I'm sure he will.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident he will. He's probably just calculating it to make sure that it actually works.
Mm-hmm.
And he does. Well, there you go. And now I'm quaking in my boots because that's my semi-finalist opponent.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's a tough one. That is a tough one.
Yeah. I am so keen to talk to Nick about this game though, because that could have gone very differently.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, short break, and then we'll be back with the interview in a couple of minutes.
You might have had
We all love
a
an
case of
underdog
mistaken
story,
identity
we all love
there,
an-
actually. But, you know, sorry to interrupt you and all that, but I think you may be thinking of Ralph and not Johnny.
Well, I've heard rumours of Johnny's John. I mean, it's an interesting tactic to play down your prospective competitor, but I've heard Johnny
not very
has
humble
some
of me.
very, very sneaky moves up his sleeve.
Yeah, certainly.
He's Johnny the Sneak after all. You know, they all call him Johnny the Sneak.
Well, isn't that chess, Nuka?
Chess, folks.
So, how confident were you going into the tie against your old friend?
All right, we are back, and I'm joined by the two players in these past couple of games, Killian and Grandmaster Spudnik. How are you both?
Yeah.
Great. Killian has some serious allegations against him, so there's always going to be an asterisk against his win here.
Has he been doping?
Sorry?
Has he been doping? Is that the accusation?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the one who said it. You're the one who said it, John. So, there's a possibility. There's a possibility. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I don't want to disappoint our Greek sponsors by throwing false accusations and fake news. So actually, I'm going to retract that statement. But yeah.
In that last game, I was really holding on to that one hope that Killian was going to make one mistake or something, and I was going to get a checkmate, but never happened.
I'm pretty happy to 4 mistakes and 2 blunders.
So yeah, shall we just dive into that game actually? So you, Killian, you threw caution to the wind. You just threw your bishop straight into h6 on turn 16. Did you realise this was a mistake? Were you just flexing on your opponent? What's going on?
Well, I sort of realised all his pieces were on the left side, and I was like, nobody's really defending his king, so I'm just going to have a little bit of fun, just go for it.
Okay. Yeah. There was a bit of apprehension on your side, Nick. You really didn't want to take this bishop. What was going through your head?
If I take the bishop, then he's going to take back with the queen, and then that's, you know...
Okay, I understand that, but a turn later, he then takes the g7 pawn, and at that point it is 100% free.
Didn't want to take it.
Convince yourself that there was something dangerous about it, and just avoided it.
And you even had an opportunity literally the turn after that where you could have then taken it with the rook.
Even more free.
Yeah.
No follow-up check on that.
I don't know why I didn't do that then.
Even on the very last turn, I didn't think it was going to be checkmate because I assumed he was going to take my bishop.
Oh.
But then he moved his queen away instead, and I was like, oh, I thought right there.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
Must have something against that bishop. Just loved it dearly.
Yeah. Just yeah.
He can't play so slowly, so I was like, he's got to be thinking of something here. So I thought maybe if I took the bishop there, he was going to move his knight in a way that would trap my queen or something like that. I don't know.
It's yeah, probably yeah, you're looking at your opponent's rating and you're thinking there's no way this could be a mistake. But unfortunately it was, and it's a missed opportunity. I think we would have loved to see a 3-minute game between you and Killian. I know Killian's had a lot of practice with short games, so.
Who would have won that? Who would have looked at all the blunders?
Yeah.
I only had one blunder apparently.
I had more blunders than you.
Was the blunder not taking the bishop? Or was it hanging mate? That might have been the blunder.
My blunder.
Yeah.
It was, but why did I just take it? Fucking...
No, it was, yeah, blunder was when you couldn't take it with your rook, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
The bishop with the knight, I was supposed to move my pawn to b6.
Oh yeah. Pretty good.
But even though I'm with GG in the chat at this point, I was like, well, he's clearly won. There's no way I could do anything here. and that's why I moved like queen to g8 because I was hoping that he would, his arrogance, his hubris would get the better of him. He would continue going with me, and then I would just take queen to g2 checkmate.
Well, in a way, he was having his arrogance get to him because he just hung his bishop, but you're too much of a gentleman to take it.
I knew he was immortal at that point. I knew he was immortal.
Just the sheer refusal to take it earlier. Yeah, okay.
Well, the bishop beat Killian one time the first time I played him, therefore I'm better.
That's definitely how it works.
Me and Nick actually played a daily game this week, and he beat me on that.
Oh, well.
True.
There you go.
Quite even, but you're just a lot better than I am.
So Killian, you progress on to the semi-finals. What do you make of your prospective opponent?
Oof, toughest one yet. No. Be a good game, I think, John.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think you're a very different player to Nick. You're a lot more cautious. Nick's a lot more.
Okay.
Do
Do you think I would have taken that bishop?
Yeah, probably.
You should have been like.
Now that you mention it, of course I should have taken the bishop. There's got to be some reason why it's
Yeah.
It's all mind games within your head.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Killian, you're progressing to the semi-final, so that means that you get at least 12 quid of your 10 quid back. Definitely a profit. That's good, and if you make it to the final, that runs it up to 30 quid. If you win the whole thing, it's 60. What do you think of your chances, Killian?
I mean, I think I have a good shot game for the final at least. But
oh, that's fighting words right there. I'm not taking that personally.
I think anybody has a good chance. Anything can happen.
Okay. You're walking back. That's better. That is chess. That is chess.
As the old saying goes.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, I'll be looking forward to being in the comments. That's where I'll be.
It's a shame that. It's a shame Nick actually won his first game because I think we wasn't quite well in the losers bracket. Yeah.
Should take my £4 at
£4 and walk home.
Yeah.
I'll chase you after that. So.
Are you?
I'm in a lot of debt.
Nice. So on the other side of the winners bracket, we have Ronan versus Adrito. Have you been paying attention to their games? Do you have any comments about that?
I mean, I know Ronan's way he plays quite well because he played a bunch. He's probably the one I'm most afraid of because it's always very even between us.
Okay.
As well, so they know each other, so it's hard to play against that.
Yeah, when you've got a mind link like that, I don't think you can really trap your opponent.
It becomes less about the chess, more about the mind battle.
Was it a Jet Li movie, The One? It's gonna be that.
Not seen that.
It's pretty much clones versus clones. It's a really shit movie, but...
Alright.
It'll be like that.
Okay, well we're all looking forward to that potential, and I'm certainly hoping to scupper those plans. I'm sure Adrito's in the same boat. Try and stop the twin brother face-off in the final.
Oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Maybe for the memes. Maybe for the memes.
You better throw it.
See, the thing is, John, if you get to the final, you're not allowed to win because you made a competition.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it would be controversial. I'd be accused of cheating and everything.
Yeah.
He's already so in that this league already. Mind games.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
It was a good game. I enjoyed the game.
Yeah, no, I feel like I really threw the first one. The second one, I just Kim has a way of just getting me out of my comfort zone, and I have no idea what the hell I'm doing.
Well, with the first game, since you brought it up, like we noticed it was just very closed and not many viable moves really for either player until someone just breaks open the position, and unfortunately it broke open in a way that favoured Killian.
Yeah, I think if I hadn't played Killian before, or I didn't know how good Killian was, I would have done better. Because I knew he was, a lot stronger than me, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna,
You beat me several times, Nick.
Yeah,
Believe in yourself.
You might be letting you win.
Could be.
There was a talk between me and James, my flatmate, about setting up like an expert bot and just playing whatever move Killian plays. I thought that'd be a good
Yeah, I think that might count as cheating.
Yeah.
Don't know about everyone else, but it feels a little bit suspect.
Or not during the tournament, I said I'll play a game against Killian and then I had to play against the bot, so he's afraid.
For the mind games, okay.
Oh, definitely get smashed.
All right. Well, it's been great having you guys with us. Hopefully you both had fun. And
yeah, it was loads of fun. Didn't think I was gonna get this far, so every day's a blessing.
Yeah, we're counting on you, Nick, to keep everyone riled up in the chat next week. It's going to be some exciting games. Yeah. I mean, the number of comments that you make that I feel like I shouldn't be speaking out loud on stream because I don't want to get in trouble, even though they're probably not monitoring me. But yeah.
CIA to investigate.
Yeah, exactly. I was accused by Vid in an earlier stream of having the delay in the stream so that I can live censor, but unfortunately I don't have that capability.
Just cut the stream.
Yeah, just cut the stream. Yeah.
I was trying to smack talk Killian as well in the chat, but they kept blocking my messages. They were too offensive apparently. I got him saying like, "Oh, keep it simple," and I'm like, "Fuck you."
Brilliant. Well, all right.
No, it was good. Thanks for organising, John. It was a flat tournament, and good luck to you, Killian, and everyone else that's in it.
All right. Okay. Yeah, thanks for that. It's been great having you both. So yeah, look forward to facing off against you next week and just casting the rest of the games in the tournament. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to end the stream there. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining me, and unfortunately, I did miss the record button for the first game with Sean and Matthew, but the rest of the stream has been recorded, so you can catch up on YouTube for those games. And yeah, we had some pretty exciting games this evening, so I'm sure you'll enjoy that. But until next Saturday, take care everyone, and hopefully see you then. Bye bye.